Hello, everyone. I am Raymond Sharp, and this is my lovely wife.
Tanisha Sharp.
And we're here to jump in. Thank you all so very much for joining us again. We're excited about this session that we're going to undertake on today.
Yes.
Today, we want to talk about marriage and seasons in marriage. And we've just celebrated 19 years of marriage. We've been together now for over 20 years.
Over 20 years.
And over these times, we've seen a lot of different changes and challenges that we had to face, challenges that we had to overcome. And I'm grateful that we both have overcome those challenges. My wife had challenges. I've had challenges. We've had challenges. And I'm very grateful to God that we've been able to overcome those challenges. The one thing, just as a period of reflection, every year around the time of our anniversary, we sit back, we talk about what we learned. We talk about the children. We talk about all the things we have going on, and all still yet just reflect, really take serious time to reflect on the things that we have overcome. And we want to talk to you all about something that's been a very great benefit to us. One thing that is troubling, I would say, is that now that we've been married for a while, we've seen plenty of people get married. We've seen people get divorces and separate. We've seen people who seemingly come to situations where they can't overcome how they feel or what they think about their spouse. And one common thread I keep hearing is, this is not the person that I married. And that's very concerning for me, because it's kind of disingenuous to say, well, this is not who I married. When if you've been married for any period of time, we all are going to change. We all are going to evolve. And I think we had to get over the seemingly fairy tale of marriage, that things will always be exactly like this. One thing that hasn't changed, well, it has changed. It has grown. My love and my appreciation for my wife has grown over the years. And that's something that I'm grateful for, is, surviving and overcoming challenges and surviving and overcome difficult seasons. Sometimes we have to just completely reset, restart, refresh, and doing that together, helping each other through seasons. And I the reason I say it's kind of very concerning to hear people say, this is not the person. I can honestly say my wife is not the person that I initially married. I'm not the man that she married. And where I believe some people get stuck is that they stop trying. They stop putting in work. They stop caring about their spouse. And the dangerous thing in that is, there's work to do every single day on your marriage. And sometimes we don't feel like doing the work, if I can be completely honest. But we have to be committed to each other's growth, each other's challenges. My wife's challenge is my challenge, and vice versa. So in that, I want to encourage you all, and we want to encourage you all to really look at the seasons. And even though seasons may change, but don't lose your spouse in the seasons. It's a foolish person that thinks that seasons will never change. Just if you think in a practical sense with nature, what would happen if seasons never change? If it was summer all the time, if it was winter all the time, if it was spring all the time, just on the practical sense, we don't want to deal with pollen all the time. So with that, with the seasons of your marriage, things will change. And what are you doing to adapt to the change? And some of us don't like the change, because change requires money. As our kids go through different seasons, we're spending more money as, when we get older. Sometimes if there's any health or medical issues that requires insurance, these things accumulate over time. So today we just want to simply talk about that.
Yeah. Another thing that you said, we don't like the growth. Sometimes even seeing the growth in our spouse, sometimes it challenges us to grow when we feel like that I don't feel like doing anything else. I don't want to go back to school. But sometimes, we feel, or, the other person may feel some kind of way when the other person is growing. They might be growing beyond them, or they're acting different because of what they have now. And it's just all these different dynamics. So it's good to do check-ins like we do at least once a year to see where we are as a couple, where are we going, so all that stuff doesn't creep into your relationship. And before you know it, you feeling some kind of way about your spouse because they're growing and you're not, or I'm growing and they're not type thing. So check in with your spouse, see where you guys are. How can you grow together? How can I be supportive? Y'all all on the same team.
That's right.
At the end of the day. all on the same team, and you want your spouse to grow, you want your spouse to be better. You should anyway want your spouse to be better, because that is an extension of you, that they represent who who you guys are one. And if that person looks good, you look good, and so there shouldn't be any jealousy or anything like that. But I do feel like growth should be something that you may not go back to school, but you should be growing in some type of area in your life to be a better person. I mean, there's always work for us to do as far as individuals, to be better, to be kinder, to be, our character, our integrity. I mean, just things about us, we should always be working on something, because we have not arrived. We don't, and so it may not be school or anything like that, but it may just be, hey, I need to work on my personal growth, my personal development. I want a promotion. What do I need to do to grow to receive that promotion? Like, being stagnant can be frustrating for a spouse, and I'm grateful we have never hit that. But I know, over the years, we've known couples that have dealt with that, and so this is something that I feel like can be avoided, and the support should be there for your spouse. There's nothing more than having your spouse support what you're doing and behind you 110%.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's one thing I was going to mention, is that, we have to be so very careful in understanding our role and our spouse's growth in that season. It's kind of like seeing that, oh, I see that my spouse is cold. They don't have a coat. I hope they figure it out.
Yeah.
Go get them a coat. And I want to make this as plain as practical as possible, because I think sometimes we overcomplicate things. Sometimes, we may not know what to do.
Yeah.
We may not know what to say. Can we listen? And then based upon what we hear, it's like, hey, okay, well, how can I motivate her? How can I, push her? How can I encourage her? How can her down days, how can I lift her up? How can I, how and what can I do? And if you're in a position like we have kids, I make sure my children understand what season we're in. Hey, mommy's studying a lot. Can y'all kind of keep it quiet a little bit? They understand.
Yeah.
But, just don't assume that kids, well, they'll figure it out. And I think we have to get past, excuse me, this level of a lack of understanding as an excuse or a crutch. Just on the human side, can I make sure things are comfortable? Hey, do you need something to drink? Do you need a coffee? Are you hungry? Let me go get you something to eat. I'll cook dinner tonight. Or, oh, you're tired, you're a little stressed out. Why don't you take a break? Let me take you out, get you away from it. What is our role in that season? There's a part that we all can play, but we have to be willing to play our role and be okay with it. One thing that's dangerous, I think people have been spoiled with the idea that everything is 50-50. Everything should be 50-50. That is one of the biggest mistakes. I don't think our marriage has ever been 50-50. There's been times where I've gone through things and she is pouring into me, making sure I'm good, and vice versa. We make sure that, whatever is necessary for that season. One of the things my wife and I endeavor to do is to outserve one another.
Yeah.
I'm her biggest supporter. I'm her biggest cheerleader. And I'm here to serve my wife. How can I serve my wife? How can I make her better? How can I help her? How can I assist her? How can I encourage her? And I take my responsibility as a husband, as a man in my home very, very seriously. Yeah. So with that, just want to encourage you all, if we can, those of you who are married, if you can take a step back and say, okay, maybe there is a gap, and you can feel when a gap is forming. Yeah. And my wife and I, we endeavor not to experience gaps between us. We may separate ourselves and isolate ourselves so we can, pray, work on ourselves, study, become better people. But we don't do it to the place where we feel like we've outgrown each other, or our separation comes between us where we feel like, does this marriage even make sense?
Yeah. What about on the flip side? If your spouse is stagnant, and how do you be patient with them? Like, what do you think will be some good recommendations that we can recommend?
Yeah.
If your spouse is stagnant.
If they're stagnant, find out why they're stagnant. Find out if there's any trauma attached to their goals. Find out if,
especially for men, because sometimes,
I think with men, I don't think women know how to encourage men. I don't think women know what to say. They just want us to get it together. And it's like some men don't know how to get it. There's steps to this. you know, and it's taking time to figure out, okay, what's slowing you down, what's stopping you, what is your concerns, you know. And this is why communication is key, because it's like, well, I have to keep up with what I'm doing for the family. And it's like, well, I may be able to take care, you know, I'm able to help you with these few items. You know how like we trying to trade off on something. They're like, hey, this is what my day looks like. You know, can you take care of this with the kids so I can flow in this area?
Yes.
And there, but see, that's for some people that's a day. For others, it could be I need this for like a month or two while I get this part together. You know, some people don't have time, but I think you need to identify time. One thing that my wife and I, we try not to complain about the time we have to do anything. We just have to be better managers of the time that we have.
That's true.
Another thing that I was told, and I've shared this before, our pastor brought in Larry DeAngie, and he said that, you know, if you have a project, he said, commit 15 minutes a day. He said that 15 minutes can be tremendous, because sometimes that 15 minutes turns into 30 minutes. That 30 minutes turns into an hour. And before you know it, you know, you've made tremendous strides. But commit to 15 minutes a day. We waste, I want to say, an hour and 15 minutes a day scrolling on social media. If we're really honest. One thing that I did to kind of like, you know, get perspective of where I was and how I was spending my time with my phone and my technology is that I went to my phone and I looked at my history, my usage history on my phone, and it breaks down per app my use, how many hours you've invested in a particular app, like screen time. And that was startling to me. So I really started to adjust because the facts are there. But again, it comes back, going back to the truth, going back to your question. I think that if women knew how to encourage men, I think that some women also, in encouraging them, they need to encourage them to get around other men that are doing what they're doing. We all need a mentor. We need somebody to walk us through the process. And a lot of men don't have mentors, and they don't. Some men don't know how to seek out mentors. So, and to that point, we have to seek out men who are where we are or further than where we want to be, and it's men that we could like allow them to check us. Nobody wants to be checked. So it also comes with a form of humility. Some people are stuck because they're full of pride. They're trying to figure out how to do it themselves when they just need to take a step back, say, I need help. Similarly, I'm going to give you all this example. Many of y'all know I'm in the real estate business, and I really wanted to go to the next level in my business. I was a person that I felt like I could research and figure out everything by myself. I went through a season of that, and certain things it was good. Other things I hit my head and I'm like, okay, why did this go wrong? And it went back to you need someone that knows more than you. So I made it. At the time, it was a difficult decision, but it was a necessary decision. I decided to, you know, shut down my firm and get to a place where the area of real estate that I really wanted to grow and learn in and go to the next level in, I got to a place that's all they pretty much did. And it's been a tremendous blessing. And I'm so glad I did it. It's one of the best decisions I've made professionally, to put myself not in position just to figure it out, but to really learn the nuances, to learn things that I didn't even know I needed to learn, and, you know, in this particular area of real estate. So I would say we have to submit ourselves to someone and understand that we don't have to have all the answers. We don't have to figure it out. There's people that would love to help us, but we have to humble ourselves and say, hey, you know, who do I need to allow mentor me? And you have to allow someone to mentor you. It's not, you know, I have people that say, oh, that's my mentor, but they don't allow me to mentor them. I'm going to say that very plainly, very clearly. You know, you like to be affiliated with me, but you don't listen like you should, because we all should be much further along. And I think a lot of us find ourselves in that place. We like to say what we have, but we don't have tangible evidence of what we say we have.
That's true.
We all could be much further. So to that point, that would be my advice. And just conversations, figure out where the disconnect is, and then be patient in your encouragement. Don't forcefully do them. Don't beat them up, because, you know, this stuff, it takes 21 days to start a new habit. And just don't think after a 3-hour conversation with them that they're going to just jump up and do it. Some people do. Small percentage do, but most people, it takes time for them to build that momentum to get them back going, where you start to see some progress.
And also, even doing little small gestures, I just thought about it, like maybe purchasing something that's connected to what they're passionate about, or like getting them a tool, going to Amazon, and maybe getting them something that kind of like something that they need, you know, something small, just to kind of like spark that fire for them,
Yeah.
and get them excited. But yeah, just encourage, helping your spouse not lose the fire. That's a huge thing.
I always say this, and this is something that we've practiced when it comes to gift giving. We always do something that they want. I get her something that she needs, and I get her something to take her to the next level. Those are my three focuses when I get gifts for my wife. Birthdays, holidays, just because something she wants, something she needs, something to take her to the next level.
And we also do wish lists.
Yes.
So I text him my list. We do it maybe twice a year. Because things change. Like what I wanted last year, I may not want this year. So, I'll send him my list or the link to the actual, like where to go to purchase it. Because sometimes he may not know where to go get what I want. And so we do wish lists. And so then when it comes throughout the year, we don't know what to get each other. We go to the list and, and get. And then not only that, you take mental note. So another thing I do sometime when we're having just conversation in the car, he mentions something that he wants or something that he needs. And I'll take out my phone and he knows now, but I will write in my notes, like, this is what he said, I'll jot it down in my notes so I won't forget, because I don't always remember everything. But what a surprise to know that you said it one time and then I got it, like, wow, you remembered. And so that's being intentional when, with your spouse. So even in gift giving, like, spark that passion and that desire again by getting a little something that, that can take their passion or their business to the next level, and let them know, hey, I support you. I'm happy for you. Like, let's get it going. And sometimes that might be the push to kind of like, help them. So, but yeah, be patient. That's the biggest thing. Be patient and be kind. If you don't do nothing else, you got to be kind. So, yeah. You have anything else?
Only other thing I was going to say is get around, and when we talked about, encouraging one another to get into new endeavors, find a professional organization and make it a trip. Say, hey, babe, we're going to go to this conference. You can go to the spa during the day while I go to my sessions, and then in the evening we go out to dinner. I mean,
that sounds like a deal to me.
Yeah. So take advantage of those opportunities where, like, hey, let's. And
find
if it's
opportunities.
and if it's connected to a business, it's a tax write-off. So just be kind of smart and wise about how you may have to shift for a season how you take trips. Like, we're gonna take trips, but it's gonna be different. Take advantage of that. Find a professional organization, get what you need. I recently I finished up my CCIM designation with real estate, and I'm excited about the location of some of the trainings and workshops and the conferences, because I was like, oh, babe, this would be great for us to, just, hey, I can go do my sessions. You can hang out, it can be, you can work, or you can relax. And then in the evenings we go to dinner, in these nice, beautiful cities that these conferences are in. Like, I'm looking forward to the next time it's in Miami. So it is what it is.
There's so much to enjoy in a relationship. And like, one thing we always would talk about is that just because you have a hard season, don't, you leave that season, but never your spouse.
Never your spouse.
You leave that season, and me and my husband, we've been really just, thinking about that. Like, so many times, we've seen people leave their spouse in tough seasons. And if we would have left in tough seasons, like, we wouldn't be able to enjoy, every couple's going to go through a tough season. Every couple. It doesn't mean that there's anything different or wrong with your marriage. Every couple is going to go through it. But I'd rather leave that season behind than my spouse.
That's right.
So that's the
season will change.
Seasons will change.
Yeah.
But that's all I have.
Yeah, me too.
Until next time, we want you to what?
Jump in.
Have a wonderful day.
Y'all take care.
Bye.